people, welcome to my channel, Tarot by Bronx. Hello, beautiful people, welcome to my channel, Tarot by Bronx. This is Tarot Talk, these are Tarot Tints, and I'm your host, Boogie down Bronx, Boogie down Bronx.
La la la, warm it up, la 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 la. The boys are waiting. You know, I had to go listen to that song after the Beyonce, Khalees, Pharrell drama. It's just so funny to me. And I talked about it. If you haven't seen it, I talked about it on Twitter. I talked about it in the Facebook Human Design group. I talked about it on my Instagram and TikTok. I was just talking about it all day. About this little drama because of Khalees being a projector and the invitation being wrong, which is what led to it being still wrong. Like, it's just wrong. So if you want to go listen to that, I like to talk about celebrity human design gossip or drama from a human design standpoint. And if you want to see more, look at the full videos on my TikTok, or if you're in the HD group, Twitter, but TikTok is where I talk about it in detail. So anyway, guys, thank you for being here for August, for your August love month ahead reading. This is going to be either early access or exclusive completely. I did not release the previous one on YouTube for July, but this one I might release. So it might be an early access reading. If you're seeing it on Patreon, then you know it's early access. If you're seeing it on YouTube, early access. Okay. But yeah, guys, so we're going to tap into what is going on for us for the month of August, what we can expect in our love lives, what's changing, what we need to know, all of that good jazz, okay? So I'm going to flip over the cards. I did a pre-shuffle for us, and let's see what's coming towards us in love, all righty? Okay. Okay, so it looks like we're getting somewhere here. The last about 2 or 3 months, there was a lot of releasing. It was a lot of letting go of people. It was a lot of separation time. But now it looks like we're moving into something else. So another energy. We have play hard, find time to laugh, goof off, and enjoy each other. We have protected. You are safe and divinely guided. We have boundaries. Firm boundaries are needed now. Now, on the bottom here, we have codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. We have it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. Then we have soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. So it does look like overall, this is a good month to begin to open up your heart again. But it's just a matter of having your boundaries set in place. And that is your way of being able to protect yourself, of being able to love openly and freely as you should. But your boundaries are what really keeps you safe. So you don't need to avoid intimacy. You don't need to avoid love if you have your boundaries, right? So what is it that we need to actually set boundaries in regards to with these people, these energies? I'm not sure if this is a new energy yet or a past energy yet. What do we need to set boundaries around for our love lives in August? Put the computer away. Okay. So for some of you, it's just really being more present with the people that you are with in order to get to know them and getting to know people outside of the screen. I know it's really scary to do right now with COVID and, monkeypox and things like that. But this can also apply for something that can improve your relationships where you are right now with existing people. This doesn't have to just be romantic. It could be improving with the people you already have in your life by being more intimate with them and practicing being more intimate with your friends or family and looking to see where maybe you need to set some boundaries with yourself in order to step away from working all the time to really just connect with them more, have more fun, or maybe you need to set some boundaries around them not being as present with you and asking them to kind of adjust, compromise, stuff like that, right? Anything else we have for August with love that we need to know before we continue? Anything else we need to know? It says you're the problem. Anything else for... Okay. So, clarify you're the problem, please. Speak the F up. Okay. Communication. Okay, so a lot of a relationship's dilemma that can be saved, especially when we move from Mercury in Leo to Mercury in Virgo. I think we're about to move into Virgo Mercury this week. That's a great time to start speaking up. But a lot of you have been in this position where you are used to just being very passive in relationships. So take it how it resonates. This can resonate for the side you're on or the people that you tend to deal with. But for some of you, you are the problem because you are not speaking up. Okay, you're not speaking up when it comes time to articulate your issues or when somebody asks you what's wrong. Generators, this is specifically for you, okay? Because you're supposed to operate in response, as well as manifesting generator. So when you have a problem, right, it's on your heart, it's on your chest, it's in your mind, right? And somebody asks you what is wrong, that is something to respond to. That's coming from outside of yourself. That is where you say, this is what's wrong. And that's how it's received just beautifully because somebody else opened up the floor. You can speak. But when you don't speak, then it's like nothing gets resolved. You get resentful, you get upset, and then it's just like all this and that. But communication is coming in. So there's going to be lots of opportunities for you to speak your piece, for somebody to be like, what's going on? What's wrong? How can I make this better? And that is where you literally speak out. Now, if you're like a manifester, you don't need to wait to speak up. You need to speak up soon. You need to speak up as soon as you want to speak up, right? But if you're not telling somebody, hey, I need this from you, I need more time from you, I need us to do this and that. If you are a manifesting generator, for example, in response to somebody saying, okay, what's wrong? And you respond, then you can initiate, okay, but this is what we should do to fix it because you have that manifestor part. You can just initiate after that and respond to be like, oh, I'm going to do this now, or I'm going to do this more, right? Potential only matters when someone acts on it. So if you are just hoping and wishing and praying somebody can read your mind and maybe get why you're upset without you having to say anything or you having to set your boundaries about something that makes you feel upset or uncomfortable, this is going to lead to a separation. Okay, it doesn't have to, is what I'm really getting. This could be in a friendship, job situation, anything. Is a time where it's time to speak up and you're going to have an opportunity to speak because the communication is coming in. And don't just sit there being mute and acting like nothing was wrong previously or just saying like, oh, I just don't want to make anybody uncomfortable by speaking up or by me addressing this issue, this problem. It will never get solved, babe. It's never going to get resolved. You're going to be upset. You're going to be bitter. You're going to be like just getting more and more angry because of that. But this is a time where you can really turn into the problem and the scenario if you have the opportunity to speak up, but you are using excuses to say, oh, I don't want to do this and that. I don't want to rock the boat. No, speak your piece, set your boundaries, and then you can move on. It's easier to just let it go from there. But it is safe. It is safe for you to love, to open up. You are protected in what you say, and somebody else's response tells you everything you need to know about if you even need to keep that connection. Because if you speak up and it's not received well and you're just speaking from your heart, that goes to show you, hey, this person isn't good for me in my life, because why would I want to be around somebody that can't even be receptive to when I'm speaking calmly, when I'm just being open about myself? So you may have a sense of codependency, or somebody that you are dealing with has a sense of codependency. Codependency can be trying to micromanage someone else's reactions or feelings. So you may tend to try to, coddle someone's feelings by not saying what is bothering you. That's codependency, and or vice versa. Somebody else may be trying to do that to you. And so you have to speak up and saying, I need you to let me know, when something's bothering you, or don't be afraid to hurt my feelings by speaking up. But there's things that need to really come out in the open, and it is safe to do so this month so that you can move forward. You can save a friendship and not play the power struggle, silent treatment type of game anymore, because that will really damage your relationships. If you hold back because you don't want somebody else to feel uncomfortable, somebody else holds back, that is really a breeding ground for lots and lots of resentment long term. And so a much needed conversation is coming in so you can set new boundaries, so you can reinform, you can reinstate your boundaries, whatever the case may be. But don't hold it all in when you have the opportunity to speak, okay? Especially generators and projectors. When you are invited to share your thoughts, your advice, what's on your heart and mind, take full advantage of those opportunities, because that is when it's received the best, when it is in response or when it is invited, okay? So don't hold back. Now let's see, what else can we expect from who is the viewers dealing with in August? Who is this person that we are dealing with here? Five of Swords. It does seem like there's been some type of power struggle dynamic between you and this person, whether this be family, friend, or romantic. A communication delay is what I'm picking up on. A communication dilemma. Tell us more about who we're dealing with here. Who we're dealing with in this connection. Whoa. Who are we dealing with in this connection? What do we need to know? Could be somebody, a lot of air influence. Could be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. We have Page of Swords, Queen of Swords. Could also be Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Pisces. That's what I have for now. It can be any sign, but those are the main signs coming out. Air sign or one of the other signs that I've listed. But we have here Five of Swords, Page of Swords, Queen of Swords. So a lot of communication is needed, or there's just been a lot of like back and forth, really rough communication. But I feel like that's because there's not enough openness, and so then it comes out in a very harsh way, not in a very loving way, or you have been holding something in for a while. There's a delay here, right? We have Scorpio energy. Something about this dynamic has been slowly changing over time, and it seems like for some of you it has been becoming a lot more serious, as to where there is not enough, like I said, play, laughter, lighthearted energy, too much like bickering, working, or just not enough closeness emotionally. And so, emotionally it's off balance. We have the Temperance card in reverse, or you're letting stressors in the relationship kind of like project onto each other here. And whatever dynamic this is, there is something still being held onto from the past pain, whether it is in this relationship or another relationship, but it's really ready to be let go of. I see that this relationship can take a whole new path of transformation with the Death card. So being able to let go of the old ways of being and doing things. You have awakening. Both people in this connection are undergoing spiritual transformations. This is on the top, which means that there's been a lot of shedding and maturing over time. But that also means that there needs to be kind of like a starting fresh on a new leaf in this relationship, within a relationship. Because for many of you, I don't feel like this is somebody brand new. I feel like this is somebody that you already have an established connection with, but things have been slowly kind of like feeling really tense over time, or there's been a lot of communication issues and errors. But that's because there's been a lot of like held in feelings. There's been a lot of overstepping boundaries and not speaking up. There's been a lot of not being assertive and just letting somebody do what they want. And so therefore it's like you have to deal with the past grievances and stop suppressing your feelings. When somebody asks you like what's wrong or whatever, you can't just expect them to know how to fix it if you're not speaking up, or you don't tell somebody what they're doing wrong because you don't want to hurt their feelings, and then you just sit there with being angry and upset for long periods of time. But it's like you have to really take on a new leaf here, whether this is in your friendships or whatever relationship. It has to start fresh, and we're going to say, okay, we're not going to be in this codependent relationship anymore where we are trying to protect each other's feelings. That's not a real relationship. If somebody can't express how they feel towards you without you getting defensive or vice versa, then it's really hard to grow. The relationship is ready to grow and transform, but there has to be some realness here about like, this cannot keep going on, or I've been holding my tongue, biting my tongue about this situation. And then there's like a lot of power struggles, there's resentment, there's hurt feelings because nobody's expressing their grievances, or it comes out in a really, really heated moment in an argument where it didn't even have to be all that if it was addressed prior, or it's like you nip things in a bud instead of letting it build up. There's a lot of feelings of letting things build up over time in this relationship. So let's see, what are some solutions for those who are watching? Romantically involved, soulmate, twin flame energies, friends, family, whoever that we are emotionally connected with here. What is the solutions for right now? We have this Queen of Swords here again, a grown-up conversation, a very blunt conversation. What is the solutions we need right now, please, Spirit, for who we're dealing with? What is the solutions we need? What do we need to do to resolve this? Have the Lover's card here. It's really not a problem with the relationship itself. Like the connection is really, it feels very genuine. It feels very soulful. It feels very good. Seven of Swords. But there's an issue with boundaries. There's an issue with open communication. There's an issue with articulation, comprehension. But really, it boils down to being able to allow each other to speak your needs, to set boundaries, and the other person don't get defensive or take it so personally, or just try to find a compromise, something that's going to work for both of you, so you can move forward. And also bringing back a lot of that fun, lighthearted, exciting energy. Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands, something more spontaneous. The relationship seems to have been just way too serious for too long. Now we have the Temperance upright. Before it was in reverse. We have Gemini energy here. So bringing balance back into this connection. Where is it out of balance? Like you guys are just too either maybe playing around too much, not serious enough, or you're too serious now. Whatever it is, there has to be balance. Moderation is good for everything, and being able to let go of the past. Judgment card. There's some stuck energy of the past. But Seven of Wands, being able to stand your ground against things that you don't like, and not just agreeing to things to keep the peace and be like, oh, well, or not speaking up at all and being like, well, it'll go away on its own, or they'll figure out what is wrong, or there has to be a new way of approaching problems in the relationship here. But otherwise, I feel like if you can get to that point where we're like, okay, we just need to talk to each other in a way, like a more loving way, or we need to try to hear each other out without shutting each other down, or without getting so defensive. That will really help. But I was thinking also from like a human design standpoint. So like, especially manifestors, if you're a manifester in the relationship, you need to be the one to initiate this revamp of the relationship, where you're like, okay, I need to start informing you more about this, or I would like you to inform me in this way. You're calling the shots there, and that'll get things moving in the right direction. And then like, if you're dealing with like a projector, you need to invite them in a way that makes them feel heard and be like, I want you to share your thoughts, your advice with me, whatever it is, guide me. It has to be like that. Same for like generators in response to a problem or issue, inviting your projector to share with you, to articulate, to help guide you, make them feel seen and heard. And projectors telling whichever type how you like to be seen or heard, or how you feel when they do this, or maybe other ways that you would like to be recognized and things like that. And then honestly, kind of similar for reflector. So it's going to be like a similar thing for reflectors being invited, a little bit like projectors. So dealing with the reflectors, like when they reach that clarity, and asking them, to share their wisdom or their insights with you, what they've learned over the span of a month, because reflectors learn in periods of time. And usually after about a month, they reach clarity about something. So asking them for their clarity on the relationship, how they feel it's going, the health of the relationship can be really, really good for you to do with your reflector, because reflectors reflect back the health of their environments or who they're around. So if your reflector is not feeling well, feeling sick, or whatever, that can mean the relationship is not healthy. So these are things that you need to consider when you are dating. And that's why I'm going to do that relationship series, the relationship workshop rather, for the different types, probably sometime in the fall when I prepare everything, so we can know who needs to do what, who needs to take the lead in these relationship scenarios, to initiate conversations, to be the one who's doing what. And that will really, really help, I feel. Right. Okay, so anything else we need to know for our relationships? Anything else we need to know for our relationships for August? Anything else we need to know for our relationships in August? Ex or past love. Some of you still need to deal with some past stuff, or you need to speak up about how your past has affected you, and how maybe something that your partner or your current relationships are doing are affecting you. And it may just be triggering you. And they don't know they're triggering you. Maybe you don't even know they're triggering you because of the past. But you need to reflect on the past and inform someone or tell somebody, hey, when you do this thing, it really does make me feel a way, or it reminds me of this situation, or whatever it is. But you're going to get a proposal here, some type of invite, some type of extension to speak, to be firm, to finally put the past in the past, whatever it is. Learning to say no. Learning to say no a lot more. All right. You don't have to, just because you're in a relationship with somebody, you don't have to agree with everything they do and say and go along with it, or things that make you uncomfortable. You don't have to say yes to everything. You learn to say no in your relationships. It'll really strengthen them, because there's mutual respect. It's not built on fear of stepping on eggshells with somebody else. And then you have letters in name, C, W, Y, or V. So that's letters in your name possibly, or letters in someone else's name. But yeah, this month is really heavily rooted in communication and being open and asserting yourself, boundaries, and not letting a relationship fall apart because resentment has built up over time, or you don't speak up when it's time to, or you don't tell somebody else when they've hurt you, or you don't tell somebody else what you need, and then you just expect them to know, and then there's so much that just goes downhill. Okay, so when the opportunity is presented to you to inform, to respond, when you're invited, when you know what you want to say, be preparing for a conversation. Be preparing now to say what you need to say, because some opportunities coming up for you to speak, for you to have a clean slate and start fresh with new boundaries and new sense of self and the way you want things to go. Okay, so that's what we have for August. Thank you guys for watching. If this reading resonated for you, let me know down in the comments down below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I am at Tarot by Bronx on everything.